Hello everyone, Sableye here and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be doing a match analysis video of my top 8 set versus Zachary Thornburg at last weekend's Vancouver Regional Championships. Of course, I'm going to be doing this for every set that I have footage for, which will be every set I was on stream for. Going to start things off with the top 8 set, of course, and I say without further ado, we jump straight into things. Now, Zach's team is focused on killing off the Tatsugiri while it's inside Dondozo, so that way something can come in beside Dondozo and psych it up. In this case, it's going to be Pear's Song to kill the Tatsugiri and Sylveon in the back to psych up the Dondozo. Now, going into the tournament, I knew this team existed, right? So my line or my game plan into this is to utilize Energy Ball and Terra Grass to punish the Dondozo on the switch in. So because the Fluttermane has to switch out at some point. So if I can catch that turn, that when the Fluttermane switches out with a Freeze Dry and an Energy Ball into that slot, we're good. However, it's not so simple. Because as you see here in Game 1, Zack makes an incredible play, realizing that I probably am under the assumption that he's going to protect Tatsugiri, right? 90% of the time, he's probably protecting Tatsugiri here. Makes a really good read in Game 1 here. Gonna get a solid start for him with a drop of Draco into my Iron Bundle, and now I've lost most of my pressure, right? I could have easily gone Icy Wind and Terra Grass Energy Ball and actually pick up the Tatsugiri, because that is a key point that I have in this game. I just figured I was under the assumption that he wouldn't give me that, because like we had time. We were the second stream game here, so I was under the impression that he would have had time to realize that Icy Wind plus Grass Terrain plus Grass Terra boosted Energy Ball going into Tatsugiri would be in fact enough to pick it off. I unfortunately did get that wrong, but you know what? It was a good play on his end, calling me out, saying, "Hey, he's gonna expect me to protect, and I can get a huge turn here." So, really good play from Zack there. And I think here, I potentially messed this one up, because I technically could go after Tatsugiri here, but at the same time, the problem is he's gonna just protect Tatsugiri this turn and do whatever he wants with Fluttermane, which is exactly what we're about to see here. So I technically got this one right. Of course, my Fluttermane is locked in to Energy Ball here. It is on the field. Nothing else I can really go for right here. Energy Ball just chipping Fluttermane down for range later. Seeing Energy Ball do that much is actually wild. I do actually double Brave Bird and get the Fluttermane dead. At this point, catching, because one, they still have Terra. Two, I'm not going to be able to catch the Dondozo on immediate switch in. I'd rather just bring the Dondozo in now so I can cycle my Arcanine in. It's more of a contingency plan at this point. Like I said, the idea is to catch that Dondozo on the switch in, but of course at this point, losing Iron Bundle turn 1, I'm already on game plan number 2. So here we're actually in a pretty good spot because I know how the strategy works, right? The Pear's Song just went off, so Zack is going to be clicking Protect here. So I have a free pivot into my Arcanine to drop the Intimidate down to hinder off this Dozo just a little bit. And the concept behind that play is I'm going to just get the chip damage if they give it to me. They should be protecting, so I have a free switch into my Arcanine for the Intimidate to bring it down to -1. The Dozo matchup on this team isn't terrifying. What scares me and what is terrifying for this team is the fact that Sylveon can come in after and click Psych Up, right? So my game 1 game plan right now went off a little rough with the beginning turn of them going into my Iron Bundle right there, but I have to make that call on turn 1, and I unfortunately got it wrong there. So Energy Ball going into the Protect as expected. We do thankfully get the Intimidate off. Now, I'm under the assumption, this is a play I really want to talk about right here, because I'm under the assumption that obviously it's going to be Sylveon in the back, right? I'm under the assumption that Sylveon is going to be faster than my Corviknight, or be able to just survive. Like if I have Arcanine Flutter on the field, I'm under the impression that Sylveon is fast enough or bulky enough to be able to survive my Arcanine Fluttermane combination and get the Psych Up off. Or if I have Corviknight on the field, I'm under the assumption that his Sylveon is actually going to end up becoming faster than my Arcanine. So here I actually make an interesting play and I click Snarl. Now, in hindsight, 2020, of course, I think Will-O-Wisp is a better play. But with the thought process of what I had just said, my Snarl here is to cover for when the Sylveon comes in and clicks Psych Up. That way it's only getting to +1 rather than +3. Or rather than +2, excuse me. But As you'll see later, that was probably a misplay, but we'll get into that in a minute. But right here, I could have easily gone Terra Water Will-O-Wisp as well on that turn. Just keep Arcanine on the field, hinder off the Dozo. And then I could have, on this turn where I switch in Flutter Mane anyways, I'm good, right? So I switch in Flutter Mane here. And my thought process now is Flutter Mane's going to take an Earthquake if they click it. I'm not going to die to an Earthquake. That's a given for me. They should. There's no need for them to Terra Steel right now. In fact, it's probably just going to be a Protect to let the Tatsugiri die while it's in the Dondozo's mouth. Zack in a very, very commanding position right now. Now, it is actually Terra flying Sylveon. So it actually cannot touch Corviknight at all. It's Hyper Voice, Terra Blast. There's only 2 attacking moves. So I'm actually pretty safe with Corviknight to be in this position right now. I got a free bulk up right there. And my concept now is I need to bully Sylveon. Right? I'm still expecting Sylveon to get the bulk to survive. Right? I still don't think I can kill Sylveon. I'm going to double Sylveon because, like I said, Flutter Mane isn't at a threat of dying right now. So I'm going to double into Sylveon, but we'll see what happens. Like I said, had I known what we're going to see in 2 turns, I definitely always, and I will always Will-O-Wisp on the turn. I click Snarl instead, and I win the game straight up. The game's just over. I didn't know that. Obviously, it's information. Pokemon's an information game, and I can take that into games 2 and 3, of course, but we're going to first off see this order up into the Corviknight. So this is where things get a little bit interesting here, and this is where I also feel that I lost the game. So, well, I lost the game on not clicking Will-O-Wisp and losing Bundle turn 1. But besides the point, we're going to go Brave Bird here and Moonblast into the Sylveon. And basically the question becomes, am I going to get the knockout? Am I going to be faster than Sylveon? Am I going to be able to get things off before it's capable of doing anything? And this is really the question that needs to be answered. Because here we go. Dondozo is going to click Terra Steel because it has no reason not to. This is the turn that it wants to be here, and it wants to be doing that on. And I'm doubling Sylveon here because I need to stop the Psych Up at this point. Because once again, Dondozo isn't a real threat to my team. Sylveon with the Psych Up boost is, however, a threat to my team. So obviously it is Citrus Berry here, so the Moonblast goes out. And this one I was really not too certain about here. I wasn't actually sure if Corviknight at +1 was going to be capable of getting this off. Obviously he knows that I have to go after the Sylveon here. Very good play on his end to click that substitute, just keeping it behind the sub. Brave Bird coming out, clearing off the Sylveon, and that's what you like to see. Now, still got a shot in this game. It is just the Dondozo left. I have a few options I can go for here. I also think I could have fixed this endgame as well, because really, his only real way into Flutter Mane is to click Earthquake, so I could have, in theory, Terra Grassed here as well, just to eat Earthquake damage a little bit better. Ideally, obviously, I didn't opt for that, but so my endgame now is I want to break the substitute is where I'm at. So I want to break the substitute so that Arcanine can come in and get another Intimidate down, which is what I'm going for. Here's a Moonblast going into Dozo, and I'm hoping the Specs Moonblast, I know it's been Terra Steeled, but I'm really hoping that Moonblast in the Brave Bird is more than enough, is enough to get the break on the sub. We're going to see what happens right there. There's a very good Earthquake for the Dondozo right there. Flutter Mane, of course, going to be capable of tanking it. Brave Bird, unfortunately, not going to be enough right there. And Corviknight letting me down. I don't think that's really Corviknight's fault, to be honest with you. I would like to know how much that actually does. But I think it was still my best play at that point. Now it's one of those ones where, do I want to save Flutter Mane or do I want to save Arcanine? Because I have a few options, right? Part of me wanted to save Arcanine for this endgame. So like I would just Shadow Ball Brave Bird into the, or Shadow Ball Roost in this case, into the substitute, let him click Earthquake again and be in a good spot. However, this point opted for this, and they're actually going to correctly protect the Dondozo here, so I technically got Arcanine in a good spot right here. Now here's the thing, right? I could protect my Arcanine and Brave Bird, right, and just try to break the sub. I still don't know if that breaks the sub, so at this point I opted just to click Flare Blitz, just to see. One, it gives me speed type, it gives me the speed tier potential to see if I'm faster moving forward. It also gives me a lot of things to see that, okay, what are you going to do in this scenario as well? So I could opt for Terra Water. I believe I decided against it. Did I protect? Was it a protect Brave Bird? Is that what I went for? Good order up. Yeah, this was a bad protect on my end. It was, like I said, I have no reason to not click Flare Blitz right there. And we'll just break this up. Right, that's definitely a misplay on my end with looking back. So, apologize if it gets a little back and forth here, guys. I'm noticing things that I didn't notice even while I was playing the set. So, that probably was a bad protect. Obviously, hindsight 2020. But I do think at that point, I do just have to launch out Flare Blitzes here. Then I can drop a Will-O-Wisp into the Dondozo. And Will-O-Wisping the Dondozo makes all damage on the Dondozo permanent. Meaning Corviknight actually successfully wins that endgame in the 1v1. However, I didn't opt for that. I could have Terra Watered there, but with the +3 on the Dondozo now, I don't believe that Arcanine, even with a Terra Water, is going to be capable of surviving that. So at that point, Arcanine goes down, and at this point, the game is lost. My Corviknight does not have enough health. It does not have enough roosts. I can get this as close to time as I want, and this game is over. I am not capable of winning this endgame anymore, simply because I don't have that burn on Dondozo, making all damage permanent. Now, obviously, I still have a shot if Fluttermane can somehow get a nice little crit here and break through the boosts. But outside of that, I really don't have much. Once again, I'm trying to just get things set up with Corviknight here, and I Terra Grath with Fluttermane. There's zero chance in the world that I'm gonna live an Earthquake. But at this point, I haven't wasted my Terra, and at this point, maybe some miracle happens that I'll live. And he's gonna see the Terra, we're gonna look at each other and just kind of laugh at this point, yeah. And it's just one of those ones that, like, it's just there for the sake of the fact that, hey, I Terra'd in this game, you know? Maybe, just maybe, I survive. There's no way in the world I survive here. Maybe I'll get a crit. Maybe the power of the grass gem will give me the critical hit that I need. It's not, there's no chance, right? Fluttermane is going to go down, as you see right there, to that Earthquake. And now here we go. Corviknight, Dondozo endgame. I'm going to spare everybody on YouTube the suffering of this one. And my concept here is basically, I am now going to take as much time as humanly possible, or as much time as I need, to be capable of coming up with making the adjustments and composing myself for games 2 and game 3. Obviously, I got a lot of reads wrong in this game, a lot of turns wrong as well. The Snarl play was questionable. I still stand by it, but the first few turns where the Iron Bundle drops the Draco into my, where the Tatsugiri drops the Draco into my Iron Bundle, just so many turns here that could have gone better for me, right? But I'm going to spare you all this extra 10 minutes of stuff of just me trying to recompose myself here. And we're going to get right into game 2. This is a win for Zachary. Zachary outplayed me in game 1. And we're going to get right into game 2 here. So, same leads. All that time I spent thinking, I still decided that this was probably my best play. The only thing I did different was put Bundle on the other side. I don't know why, just the way it happened to work out. But if anybody thinks it's going to give me a competitive advantage, sure, I'll take it. Maybe the Fluttermane staring down the Tatsugiri will make it protect this time. I don't know. Basically, at this point, I'm pretty confident the Tatsugiri is going to protect this time. He knows that it's too easy for me to just kill Tatsugiri here, right? There's a very strong chance that I just want to kill Tatsugiri. He knows that my win con here is to shut down his one, I don't want to say one and only strategy, but like his big strategy. And once I see this lead, this is the game plan he's playing for. Cool Terra Steel on the Fluttermane. I do respect it. What I like about seeing that though is it makes my next turn so much more easy. We do get the Tatsugiri with the protect. We get that call correct. I cover for the Icy Wind because I'm still trying to break the Focus Sash on the Tatsugiri, as well as Icy Wind into Icy Wind Energy Ball into Fluttermane into Icy Wind Energy Ball into Fluttermane. Potentially has a chance of bringing it down, knocking it out if it doesn't Terra Steel. Of course, they're going to Terra Steel, so that's fine. Energy Ball here going into the Fluttermane. No real reason not to. And now we have a call to make. And because they Terra, my call becomes a whole lot easier because now the Dozo can't Terra. Right? Meaning at any point, as long as I'm capable of getting the grass off into, like the Terra Grass Energy Ball into the Freeze Dry off, I can kill that Dondozo. So I'm going to double Tatsugiri here. I think about this one a little bit long and hard here, but for me this is very clear that I need to just drop drop the Tatsugiri. If Tatsugiri protects and Fluttermane does realistically anything, The scariest thing that Fluttermane could do here is just actually drop a Moonblast into my Iron Bundle. I believe it's a roll on my bundle. We'll see. It really just comes down to how much investment Zachary actually has on the Fluttermane, and that's something I'm not certain of. So it really just comes down to that. I would assume they're pretty much max speed. I feel like they're going to want bulk, but I also feel like they have enough special attack to probably still drop the bundle. So kind of a read I have to make right here. I safely see no switch out right now. And what that means is we're going to get a nice little Icy Wind and a nice little Energy Ball here. Fluttermane is going to protect. I think he knows, like I said, in game 1, my win con, and I think he's recognized my win con is to catch that Dondozo on switching. So he's going to try to protect the Fluttermane here, stall out a turn, but I'm not going to give that to him, right? I'm going to safely, immediately double into this Tatsugiri. It's going to go down, and just like that, the strategy is off the field. I no longer have to be concerned. Goodbye, Tatsugiri. Okay, so that was a really, really good turn for me. Got the call right, and without Dozo and being able to boost up, without Sylveon being able to psych up the boosted stuff, this game is over. Realistically, effectively over. It's not like GG, oh my goodness, I've won, but I'm in such a good spot, especially with a Corviknight and an Arcanine in the back. It's going to be very difficult for Zachary to pilot his way out of this, as long as I'm piloting relatively correctly here. Here, it's at this point, I'm not really concerned about the Fluttermane. It can go down to my Corviknight, it can go down to my Arcanine at really any point in this endgame. I'm not too concerned about it. So Bundle's just going to protect just to see what happens here from probably what I would imagine is a Moonblast there. I don't remember exactly what he clicked, but you know, I could have just watched the footage and actually told you guys, but I forget. I wasn't paying attention. I was talking about my thought process. Moving out of that, Sylveon, of course, going to eat that Energy Ball. Just wanted to see what was going on, and Hyper Voice can come out. It's not going to do crazy amounts to my Fluttermane. And I do want to save Fluttermane for this endgame. So Fluttermane is capable of just dropping an Energy Ball and killing things. There's no, right? It's just going to take a piece, right? I think here it needs to be an Icy Wind, and my concept with that is I Icy Wind and bring in Corviknight. When Bundle goes down, that allows Arcanine on the field, and Arcanine has a free Flare Blitz being faster than the Fluttermane. So Corviknight's going to come in here, eat a Hyper Voice. Fluttermane doesn't have Shadow Ball on his side of the field either, so this is the safest play I could have possibly made. Icy Wind's going to come out, just tip Fluttermane down to below half. Nice little crit. I don't think it matters. Like I said, I have a Flare Blitz safely ready to go into Fluttermane, and because he didn't switch it out, he's dying to the Perish. So there's a Moonblast into my Corviknight. Hyper Voice is coming out. Bundle will go down to Perish, so I don't care about the chip damage. Bundle's gone. His Fluttermane is also now gone. It is a Dozo and a Sylveon versus a Corviknight, Arcanine, and a Fluttermane. Now, I believe I bring in Arcanine first, because if I bring in Fluttermane and they protect the Dozo and get some sort of high roll on Hyper Voice, it's very, very bad for me, because I would then have really no way to break through Dozo. Of course, I can probably still get more. I get more damage off in this endgame, so I'd probably win regardless if they protect the Dozo. But here I have no reason not to bring this lead on the field and just kill Sylveon, right? All I have to do now is pressure down Sylveon to a spot where I have my Flare Blitz going off, to a spot where I have my Energy Ball going off in the background here. The battle is going to be canceled. I respect that from Zack's end. Zack probably knows where he messed up, right? If he would have played that out, cool. I played out game 1 to try to figure out what to do in game 2 and settle things down. So if he would have played that out, perfectly understandable. And here we are with the game 3 leads. Do these two things look familiar? At this point, it's clear to me that Zack is just going to try and outplay me with the Perish. He's forced it in twice. Obviously, it's very clear to me that this is what his game plan is. He's going to get this off consistently. He has the contingency plan of trying to lead like Scarlet, Glamora into me. But I do respect the fact that he's just playing to his line, because it probably still is a really, really, really strong line into me as well. So here's now one of those ones. Is he going to give me the Tatsu on turn 1? I hit the Tatsu anyways, because at this point, all I need to do is bully down to Tatsu. As long as I'm bullying down to Tatsu, it's all good. At this point, right? I'm not too concerned about it. The Tatsugiri does unfortunately protect here. He knows he's not going to give it to me. He had it in game 1, and he does that in game 1 just to give himself these turns in games 2 and 3. Because right here, I'm basically saying I have to go after your Tatsu, right? Arguably speaking, I should have done this play in game 1, turn 1. I literally just win. But either way, he gets the right call here with the protect. We do manage to slow down to Fluttermane for a little bit of chip damage there. Of course, unfortunately, I don't get the kill on Tatsugiri because of the protect, but the Perish Song goes up. Now, here's a call that we've got to make. And since I'm under the impression, and what I've learned from game 1, is that my Arcanine is now faster. My Corviknight at +1 plus my Fluttermane's attack will be enough to kill Sylveon before it can get the Psych Up off. I'm okay allowing Dozo to switch in here. I don't need to worry about the Dozo switch in. I can safely double Tatsugiri because if the Dozo switches in, I can then cycle in my Arcanine play and I can make basically the same plays as game 1 and put myself in an endgame where Corviknight actually wins because the Dozo will be burned. So I can safely go after Tatsugiri right now. I don't need to make a hard call saying that Dozo's coming in. Did I actually protect and go after... No, there's no way... Did I actually go for that? Alright. Alright then, but Zack is going to actually switch out the Tatsugiri here, not realizing that he still wants to have that Dozo setup potential. In the end, we're going to protect the Iron Bundle here, where I believe a Moonblast comes out right now. Moonblast does come out into the Iron Bundle. Maybe analyzing this was wrong. Maybe whatever I was thinking in the moment was working. But I guess this does also cover things like if they leave the Tattoo on the field, I'm killing off the thing. Right? Yeah, I guess that's fair still. Right? And if they go for the switch in this time to save the Tatsu, well then we're actually still in a pretty good spot. So right now, not in a bad position right now. We've gotten rid of the Perish Song user, and the only real concern now is the fact that the Dozo strat is still on board with with the ability to get set up. So here's where I Icy win and I go Energy Ball. I still think if I can just kill the Tatsu, I win the game, right? And that's where this concept comes from. It's that I have to bully down the Tatsu. And I think I did misplay that last turn. Going after Fluttermane I don't think was ever correct there. I might as well bully Tatsu because like I had said, if I have Arcanine in the back and I just burn, Corviknight wins the endgame if I just burn the Dozo. So I had no real reason to try to hard call the Fluttermane switching out. Thankfully Zack did switch out the Tatsugiri, otherwise I would have been in a little bit of I would have been in a lot of trouble, right? So Tatsugiri, they're gonna protect, kind of had to protect. I respect it. Nothing too crazy going on there. I do protect my Fluttermane for later. Just want to keep it around. Like I said, at this point, still being able to get a big special attack off into a Dondozo is still super important to me. And I can safely switch into an Earthquake with that piece as well now. So they're going to protect themselves now. And this is where I bring, I believe it's Fluttermane right back in since it's really not going to die, right? Or is it Arc? Is it Arc? I guess it's Arc so I don't eat like a Draco with my Fluttermane. Yeah, I guess it's Arc. I guess Fluttermane is still more important here. Or did I just stay in? I definitely don't think I stayed in. I'm pretty sure I preserved Bundle, but maybe I'm wrong. I'm pretty confident I go into Arc here. Yeah. So I go into Arc here. This one is a little bit of a questionable 50-50 because the Dozo could switch in. They could stay on the field with both and kill things, but I know for sure that I want to have Bundle for the late game. Arcanine isn't as necessary anymore, but it's still, it's going to come in pretty safely and not die anyways, right? So we're going to get the Intimidate down. Nothing too crazy right there. But we're going to see Sylveon actually switch out. Dozo is going to come on the field, and now we're in a position where Arcanine is faster than Dozo. The Dozo's locked on the field. This is exactly what I want to see. There's only so much the Dondozo can do at this point. It's going to have to start clicking order ups. I'm going to get a nice little chip damage off with Brave Bird. Nothing too crazy right now. And we're just going to start getting damage off. Now I need to find a way to pivot my Iron Bundle back in. And that comes off the next turn where I go Will-O-Wisp. Iron Bundle comes in safely. And with the Burn Dondozo Iron Bundle, I have them pinned where they can't really tear Steel because Flare Blitz starts launching out. And they can't stay water because Freeze Eye then starts doing some massive damage. So there's my Wisp. Here's my swap right back into Bundle. And at this point, once again, we're in a position where Corviknight probably just wins this endgame as long as I play my endgame smartly. And once again, I have shut down their Psych Up strategy. And once I shut that down, we're in a good spot. I do think Zack made a little bit of a misplay by switching out the Tatsugiri. I'd like to hear his thoughts on where that play came from because like he's at that point, he's clearly committed to making the play, right? I think he was under the assumption that I would go after the Tatsugiri again, and then he'd kill Bundle, right? And then he'd have 4 Mons versus 3. I would have lost Bundle, and he can safely, like, stay water, doesn't have to burn a Terra, and probably gets the end game there. That's probably the assumption, but I do think that would end up really costing him here because of the play that I made on that turn. Obviously, it's a really, really tough read. Good sub from Zack's end there, but it's not going to be enough. The Dozo is already burned. The Freeze Dry is going to break the sub, and like I said, if they go Terra Steel, Freeze Dry won't break the sub, but Flare Blitz will as a follow-up. So at this point, we continuously launch Freeze Dries into Flare Blitz. There's an order up. We're going to see very minimal damage here. That burn really paying dividends right now. Dozo has been chipped down. It cannot gain health back because of that chip. And at this point, this is all but GG. Just need to chip it down a little bit, make sure these end games don't get too crazy with the order ups, and keep things going. So Flare Blitz and a Freeze Dry coming out once again. This has to be either an Earthquake or an order up from the Dondozo. He doesn't really have much of a choice here. He can't play defensive anymore. A Substitute is not going to help him. He's also out of range of Substitute now. So here comes the Flare Blitz. Going to leave it on the red. That is more than okay. I'm cool with that. And I believe it is an Earthquake at this point. Yeah. So Zack opts for the Earthquake. That's totally fine on my end here. Arcanine's on the field. We're chilling. Getting a Citrus Berry back. And here's the play that I'm trying to make. And this play is basically, I want to protect Dozo. So I want to protect Bundle and Flare Blitz Dozo. I want to put him in a spot where I can go Freeze Dry into Dazzling Gleam and just shred the Tatsugiri when it comes out of the turn. When it comes out of the Dozo, basically. So I'm going to go Flare Blitz here to cover for a Terra Steel. It's also my strongest option. Just drop a Flare Blitz. Keep him. Any damage I get is permanent, right? And then I'm going to protect. So basically my concept here is I want to go Flare Blitz and I want to have the protect. That way, at the end of the day, my Freeze Dry into Dazzling Gleam is enough after Arcanine goes down. I want Arcanine to fall here, right? We're going to go Flare Blitz. Flare Blitz, a little bit of chip damage, nothing too crazy, but we get the chip damage here. And we're going to see a nice little Earthquake. Earthquake's going to come on out. Tatsugiri, of course, going to avoid it. It's still in the mouth of the Dondozo. And Earthquake is going to, I believe it does get the KO on my Arcanine, which is exactly what I wanted to see. So now I get Flare Mane, and I get to go for Freeze Dry. I get to go for Gleam. The Gleam breaks the Focus Sash on the Tatsugiri, and we're in a very, very good position. Now, Zack's going to make actually a pretty nice play here and burn his Terra in an attempt to keep his Tatsugiri with a Sash on it. And this is where really what it comes down to now. Does the Freeze Dry still kill through Steel? For me, I'm not going to make a hard call Steel and click Hydro Pump, because that could cost me the game. Right? If he Terra Steals here, it is what it is. There's really no concern for me. And you can go ahead and do so. He is going to make that Terra Steel play. Really, really smart play on their end. Right? Just trying to make sure that Tatsugiri comes out of this Dondozo with a Focus Sash still intact. So we're going to see the Freeze Dry here. I'm praying. Just seeing if it still kills. It does not get the kill. But like it's okay, right? Dazzling Gleam still picks off the Dozo. I'm not in a bad spot at all. I just have to preserve the endgame a little bit differently now, right? Just to close things off, you know? Just to close things off. I still have my Corviknight. My Fluttermane is still not in range of realistically dying to anything. And this is pretty much exactly where I want to be. Now, they can try to protect. They kind of have to protect the Giri here because I can always go Freeze Dry. So, once again, Fluttermane's not in a place where I'm really threatened here. So I go Dazzling Gleam, and I'm just going to protect Bundle. I don't really want Bundle to go down right now. It's a key piece to be able to potentially get a Freeze Dry into a Tatsugiri late game. And I'm just going to drop Dazzling Gleams. So they are going to make the correct play in protecting Sylveon here. And I'm surprised they went for that play because I guess they're calling the play that I'm protecting. Like, I think that's correct, right? Because there's Sash over there. And if I'm, for the slightest of moments, make the call that Tatsugiri is going to protect, and once again they can get out of that with this play, that's a really good play. So they're going to successfully drop a Draco here. Fluttermane, of course, going to tank it pretty well. Nothing crazy right now. Now we know they're going to protect Giri, right? They have to protect Giri. I'm going to Dazzling Gleam, and at this point the Tatsugiri is at -2. Corviknight wins this endgame, right? Corviknight is not winning this endgame. I'm going to cover for that. I'm just going to bring the Bundle off of the field, cover for if they want to protect the Tatsugiri, which they probably should attempt to do, and I believe they do go for it. And at this point, Corviknight is on the field. Tatsugiri, there as you go. You're going to see the protect right now. And at this point, Corviknight just has the game locked up. Dazzling Gleam's going to get a nice little bit of chip damage into Sylveon. And there's not much more to really say about this one. Hyper Voice is going to come out. Thankfully, Fluttermane's going to survive on 2. And that one fully seals the game. At this point, it's Dazzling Gleam and just a Brave Bird. And the concept here is they can go for the double protect. Because I have bundle, it covers if they get a chance for the double protect here. Thankfully, they do not get it at that point. Dazzling Gleam comes out. Tatsugiri goes down. Sylveon gets chipped. Will Corviknight be able to finish off the kill? It's not relevant. I have enough here. We have to just wait for the Citrus Berry to come out into Sylveon. Brave Bird's gonna go out, gonna come out, gonna connect into the Sylveon. It's just gonna miss the knockout, but Corviknight didn't need that knockout there. You know, Corviknight's saving the knockouts for when they count. Hyper Voice is coming out. That's fine. Fluttermane can go. They do crit the Corv. Not relevant at this point. Fluttermane, Iron Bundle plus Corviknight wins this. So I thought about protecting Iron Bundle just to let Corviknight get the kill because, you know, let Corviknight get the kill. But on some random scenario where maybe it's some crazy speed tie that's been a speed tie this entire set, and just to cover all things, I'm just going to click freeze dry and guarantee it here. There's no real reason for me to maybe potentially make some sort of crazy play. But yeah, with that, we are going to be the winner. We do move on to top 4, and spoiler alert, top 4 is up versus Aaron, Cybertron, Zhang. So of course, that video will be analyzed tomorrow. With that, thank you all so much for watching. I'm going to get out of here, and I will catch you all in a future video.